Some days are good. So, mentally speaking, some days are days when you just have a million ideas about a million things. Okay, maybe not a million, but you get the idea. You have a lot of ideas, whereas other days, like today, in my case, the mind offers you nothing in terms of, well, basically what to talk about on your daily internet series. And it's happened before. Quite often, in fact. In fact, that is the reason the History of Splatt in 100 Objects segment was created, so that I could just pull out an item from my past and talk about it, and talk about the way it shaped me into the person I am. But today, I thought, no. Today, I figured it would be better to be honest with you, and to let you know some of the workings behind the Daily Splat. Some days, I wake up in the morning, and I'll think, great. Actually, some days I'll wake up in the morning, some days I'll wake up in the afternoon. Today was an afternoon day, and it's been a funny old day, really. I do a radio show here in Perth on volunteer radio, 89.7 FM, or Twin Cities FM, if you must know, broadcasting live out of Joondalup campus every Monday from 3 PM till 5 PM, where I host a football or soccer-based talk show. Called The Funny Old Game, where we sort of review games that have just been played and preview games that are to come in the week. And I host that show, and I have guest pundits on, which consist of my father, who is also into football, my two City supporting uncles, Boo, and a few friends of mine who are also quite knowledgeable on their football. So I had that to do today, and that's occupied most of my time. Obviously, I'll come home, I'll get ready for work tomorrow, things like that. And sometimes this video is just an afterthought. And sometimes, it gets to 11:30 and you go, bugger, I've not done it yet. And, sometimes I'm able to think of something quite quickly, but I'll be honest. Today is a mental block. And I've had the mental blocks before, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. There are worse feelings in the world. Being on stage and realising that you're going to have to talk in any second and you can't remember what your line is. That is an even worse feeling. And I've had that happen once or twice, and that's very unpleasant. But it is an interesting thing, the mental block. Why it happens. Intrigues us. It intrigues me. Not sure about the rest of you. But yes, I just thought it'd be better, rather than coming out and saying, oh look, a cup, that sort of thing. I figured it'd be better to just say, I honestly don't have anything to say today. And some days are like that. Of course, that's perfectly fine if you haven't committed to doing a daily video podcast, daily video blog, where you are trying to bring something interesting in. Some days, well, I'm human too, is basically what I'm saying. And some days I just don't have anything to talk about. And as I haven't used it as a subject yet, today's subject, I suppose, is about not having anything to talk about, which is a cheap trick, I suppose, which I can use just this once. So, consider it used. I will, of course, not be using it again. Or maybe, who knows, I can't read in the future, but yes. So the mental block is certainly something that plagues certain people, particularly the creative minds who are trying to write books or think about painting a picture or making a film, but it affects everyone. If you're working either at university on a thesis, or you're working in your workplace and somebody says you've got to come up with an idea for this, sometimes it just happens, even to the best of us, and even to me. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you'll forgive this nothingness, and watch again tomorrow, when I promise I will have something. That's all. Bye.